This is a great cookie to have around in the holidays. You know, it just kind of makes everybody think about like cozy, warm fires and holiday family gatherings. My name's Elizabeth Belkind. I am the executive pastry chef and co-owner of Cake Monkey Bakery in Los Angeles. And today I'll be making our very famous Lil Merri cookie. Definitely important to use pastry flour as opposed to all-purpose flour. It has a lot less gluten and it will give you a finer texture and a lighter feel. When we first started working with this, we wanted to make something that was reminiscent of an oatmeal cream pie, but that was like definitely a little bit more sophisticated. And still to this day, I'm amazed how sweet the cookie is, but like how delicious anyway and how popular it is. And it's really a cookie that adults and kids love. My little boy loves it. He's not a chocolate fan, so it's a great cookie to have out there for people who don't want a chocolate chip cookie or something like that. I would eat it on its own, and it's actually excellent frozen, I have to say. Like, it's really good that way. They're also great for parties. We make small versions of them that you can just take 2 bites of and walk away. So initially, when I was making the oatmeal cookies, they were coming out like very thick and dense. When I was developing the recipe, I was amazed how much sugar and how much butter I had to put into it so that they would actually like just hit the oven and spread like a pancake like right away and not bake like a chocolate chip cookie, you know, that's like thicker. So the reason why I combined the baking soda with boiling water before adding it to the dough is because most baking sodas are what's called double acting. That would mean it reacts initially to liquid and then again to heat. If you're trying to bake a cookie that's flat and lacy, you want to kind of remove a little of the oomph of the leavener. It's super important to chill the dough because if you use the dough right after you've made it, you're going to end up with just a mess on your tray. Like, it won't hold any kind of a shape. A key to a good buttercream is starting with room temperature butter. You take the time to cream it on its own first before you start adding other ingredients to it. And in this case, when you're making a maple buttercream, I strongly suggest buying real maple. It gives it like a very rich molasses sweetness. It's delicious as opposed to just like syrupy sweet maple syrup. I think people are surprised by the maple in the filling. Like, they think, oh, oatmeal cream pie, and then they take a bite of it and they're like, oh, this is different. So it's important to note that in the recipe I've called for pre-sifted powdered sugar, and what I mean by that is to sift it and then measure the amount of sugar that you're going to use. If you measure 2 cups of unsifted powdered sugar, it's almost double the amount of sugar, so be careful about that. And also, sifting helps you to easily incorporate the sugar into the butter. So now that the dough has chilled, we're gonna go ahead and scoop these with a 3/4 tablespoon size scoop. Once you've arranged them on the tray, be sure to allow some space between each cookie. I would say about 3 inches between each cookie because they'll spread. To encourage that spreading, what you're gonna do is wet your fingertips with a little bit of water and tap them down until they're about 1/4 inch thick. Before you pipe the buttercream into the cookies, make sure the cookie is cooled completely. I've put the maple buttercream in a piping bag with a 1/2 inch tip, and then once you place the top cookie on there, you'll press it down a little bit so it'll squish towards the edges. The cookie is crunchy on the edges and then very chewy and soft in the center and super creamy. Oh my God, I don't know if I have words. I love this thing.
Oh, yes!